In a bustling city, a young and ambitious architect named Daniel worked tirelessly to make a name for himself. His days were filled with back-to-back meetings, design plans, and constant deadlines. Although he was successful, his mind was always racing with thoughts, worries, and unfinished tasks. Stress and sleepless nights became his companions, and he could never seem to quiet the noise in his head. One day, after a particularly overwhelming meeting, Daniel's mentor, Mr. Jameson, invited him for a walk. Mr. Jameson was a retired architect, known for his wisdom and creativity, and he always seemed calm and centered, even in the most chaotic situations. Curious but frustrated, Daniel agreed, hoping for some advice to help him manage his growing anxiety. The two walked in silence until they reached a serene park on the outskirts of the city. At the center of the park was a small pond, surrounded by trees that swayed gently in the breeze. Mr. Jameson sat down on a bench and gestured for Daniel to do the same. "Close your eyes," Mr. Jameson instructed, "and imagine that your mind is like this pond. Every thought, worry, or distraction is a stone being tossed into the water, creating ripples and waves. The more stones you throw, the more restless the pond becomes." Daniel sighed, feeling the weight of his unending responsibilities. "But I can't just stop thinking. I have too much to worry about." Mr. Jameson smiled. "The key," he said gently, "is not to stop the thoughts but to let them settle. If you stop throwing stones into the pond, the water will eventually become calm again. Empty your mind, Daniel. Let the waves settle." Skeptical, but willing to try, Daniel closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He let his thoughts come and go, picturing them as stones sinking to the bottom of the pond. With each breath, he focused on the stillness beneath the surface, allowing the noise in his head to gradually fade. Minutes passed, and for the first time in years, Daniel felt a profound sense of peace. When he opened his eyes, the world seemed brighter, and the tension in his shoulders had melted away. Mr. Jameson looked at him knowingly. "Sometimes the most creative and life-changing ideas come when your mind is empty and calm. Remember, true clarity comes from stillness." From that day forward, Daniel made a habit of emptying his mind each morning, spending a few moments in quiet reflection. He found himself more focused, more innovative, and, most importantly, happier. The change transformed his work and personal life, teaching him that success wasn't just about working harder, but also about creating space for the mind to breathe, rest, and dream. The lesson stayed with him: when the pond of the mind is still, it can reflect the beauty of the world around it, and in that stillness, the best ideas can bloom.